Hey everyone, my name is Sandy Vasher. I am one of the Word Stitch girls, and today I'm here just to give you a few Scrivener secrets. I think I promised these to those of you who watch our live stream writing sprints. So as promised, some Scrivener tips. These are just some 5-minute tips. And today, because I know a lot of people are planning for Nano, I thought that I would go through one of my favorite things that people often don't know is there, which is Scrivener's outlining feature. So let's get started. This is a Scrivener project that I have right here. So I'm going to make it real big so that you guys can see it. And I'll take away my banner. Now, most of the time when you're working in Scrivener, you're probably seeing something just like this, right? So, well, maybe not with your bit defender in the background, but something like this where what you have is your binder on the left. So that's all of these folders here. And then you have what you're actually writing in the middle. And then to the right, you have Scrivener's inspector. Let's see if I can't get rid of that word stitch icon so that you guys can see this a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that you need to understand about Scrivener is that Scrivener is both a word processor and also a method of organizing your files. So every little file and folder here in the left in your binder, this is a different document. So your Scrivener project is actually holding a bunch of different little documents and folders in different little text files. You can see the text files here in the center. So like this is a text file and it's Meet Caleb. This is a romance that I'm working on. And then what Scrivener does that's really cool is it lets you see metadata that it sort of specifically organizes for you in this area, the inspector. So this index card, anything that you use here in like the label section, this is basically all metadata, which means it's like little bits of information that are associated with your Scrivener text files, but that Scrivener wants you to be able to see easily. So it sort of gives you a format here to do that. Now, I'm telling you this not because you really need to understand what metadata is, because it's useful to know that there are 3 different sections here, because you're going to be able to need to get to a certain section to see the outlining. So, for example, if you click the eye here, the inspector will disappear. Right? So now your screen is going to look a little bit different than it did before. That's okay. It just means that now you're not looking at that information. Click the eye again, and now you have it back again. The same with the binder, I think. If you click that binder up there, did you see that? That's up there in the left where my arrow is. I'm making the arrow really big. So there it is, bouncing around upper left-hand corner. If you click that binder, Scrivener shows you all of your documents in the file. And if you click it again, then that goes away. The one thing that Scrivener doesn't usually take away is the center screen. So that is the document itself. So this is where you're putting all of your scenes or chapters or whatever it is that you're putting in your Scrivener file. And so normally you're probably going to see your screen like this with the binder on the left and the document in the middle and the inspector on the right. But let's suppose that you want to outline your entire novel. So now what you need to do is look up at these 3 little buttons up here at the top. So there's one that looks like a little piece of paper. And if you put your arrow over the icon, it'll say a little pop-up will come up and it'll say view the document. Then there's this little corkboard thing. And if you put your arrow over this, it'll say view the document sub-documents on the corkboard. And if you put your little arrow over here on this thing that looks like the outline, it'll say view the document sub-documents in the outliner. So like right now I'm on a particular scene. I've highlighted a scene here. It's called Meet Caleb, right? If I click the corkboard, then I'm going to get the documents, sub-documents. But look, I'm on Meet Caleb and there are no subdocuments. So the corkboard's going to be blank. Same if I click the outliner, there's not going to be anything there because I'm on a document. So this is, I think, probably one of the first things that confuses people in Scrivener is they're thinking like, where's this magical outlining function? And they can't get to it because no matter what you click here, the only thing you seem to be able to find is the document itself. So if you want to actually outline in Scrivener, what you need to do is select one of the folders, or ideally the manuscript as a whole. So let's go back over to our binder here. And instead of clicking Meet Caleb, let's click Manuscript. So now Scrivener is going to automatically default us to the outliner view, although yours might be different. And now you can see that I have outlined this entire story in Scrivener. So I mentioned there are 3 screens. I'm going to get rid of the inspector so that you can see this better. So I'm clicking the eye so that you can see the whole outline better. And what I've done now is I clicked Manuscript and I also have outliner highlighted. And so Scrivener is now showing me every folder that's beneath Manuscript. And it's showing me what I have written on like the little index card for the folder. So let's get the inspector back again. If I were to click on the first folder here, Intro H1, you'll see that I have this little index card here in the inspector, and I've written down some information about what I want to have happen in this particular chapter. So my folders are chapters. The index card shows me what I want to have happen in the chapter. So if I go to Manuscript, under Synopsis, the Scrivener program will show me what I wrote on that index card. So basically, Scrivener's outliner function will show you everything that you have on the index cards for all of these little folders. So what you can do then is, before you ever start writing, you could create a folder for every chapter, and then you could write what you want in that chapter on the little index card, or actually you can do it right here in your outliner view by double clicking that spot there. And then you'll be able to see your entire outline. Now, I'm showing you a Scrivener file that I actually did with a beat sheet. So this is based on a Jamie Gold beat sheet. I love Jamie Gold's beat sheets. They are fantastic. I'll try to put a link to that at some point in the description. But so my Scrivener is actually a template here. This is not how all of mine are. So let me show you a different one. Here is a fantasy novel that I'm working on right now. So here you can see, let's make this easier for you. So do you see here on the left here, it says Final Book. And then underneath Final Book, I have all of these chapters, right? So I have like chapter 1, The Surviving Prince, chapter 2, The Dead Prince. And right now I have highlighted Final Book. So since I have highlighted Final Book, and I've also highlighted the outliner up here, you can see that for every chapter, I have a synopsis, and I've used these synopses to basically outline my novel. So instead of having like a Word document with an outline before I began, I created a bunch of folders and then said, okay, so this folder is chapter 1, The Surviving Prince, and I want this to be this character's world now. And so this particular one is interesting. I used a hero's journey kind of outline for this. So I created the outline myself, but I basically then created a bunch of chapters, and I would write like main character's world now, entry into special world, meeting the mentor. And then as I went through and actually wrote the book, I went back and revised my outline so that the outline reflected what I actually am using in the book itself. And again, in case we're not clear, so we're seeing multiple things at once here on this screen. Here's chapter 1, The Surviving Prince. Here it is again, chapter 1, The Surviving Prince. This over here, this index card, this is my outline of that particular chapter. And also you see it again here in the outliner. I can get rid of this section, the inspector, by clicking the eye. I can change what the outliner says by double clicking right in here next to the folder itself and making edits right here. So I can make edits right in the outliner, but notice that this does not make edits to any document itself. What this is making edits to is the metadata associated with the document, or associated with the folder rather. So you can see that, see how it says I made edits right now in the outliner? That's because I changed it here, and this is showing you this index card. So the outliner is always showing you like the index cards that you've created for particular folders. If you don't like the outliner view, by the way, you can also see this in the Corkboard view. So sometimes I find it handy to do that. This is my Corkboard view. And of course, Scrivener has some like pretty nice kind of drop and drag kind of things. When you're looking at it this way, keep in mind that every index card is one of these folders to the left. So like if you were to move one, like let's say I move this Royal Church of the South prayer over, then also see that in the binder, the order changed. So you want to be a little careful about that if you're concerned about the order of your chapters and you don't want it changed in like your final manuscript. This is a representation of how you're organizing your final manuscript or whatever your manuscript is right now. There's also, let's see what happens if we click the document view. So nothing. Or I've frozen my Scrivener. Oh, no, I haven't. Okay, so if you click this, oops, let's go to Final Book again. So if you click this spot here, view the group's sub-documents as Scriveners, and we're looking at the actual manuscript, then theoretically, we're going to see all of the different little documents under here. So this is where you could actually view your entire manuscript. So like, let's say I'm looking at chapter 1. So this is going to show me all of what's under chapter 1. So I have multiple scenes, and that might be helpful for you. But we're talking about outlining right here. So let's say you want to see what specifically you want in that particular chapter. You could view the group subdocuments, and now you see the title of the documents, and you could create like a mini synopsis for what happens in this. So you could say, in this scene, the prince discovers all his guards are dead. That's what's happening right there. I have a comment. Hey, Right with Melanie. Thanks for joining me. I'm only going to be here for a couple more minutes, but if you have any questions about what I've just talked about, let me know. I thought I would try to do it as a live stream in case anyone showed up, and if they didn't, then this will be recorded for later on. So that's pretty much it, though, right? We have you click on the manuscript, and let me take you back to the one that will look more like yours. So you click on manuscript, and you will see all of your folders. For every folder, you can have information that you provide for yourself. You can put that in outline view. You can use the index card to do that. And note also that there are all these sort of like other things that you can do. So remember I said at the beginning that Scrivener sort of organizes your metadata for you. So you can use the outliner to see that metadata. So like, for example, for me, I have parts set up as like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, because this is based on a template, and that's how the template was set up. So in my outliner view, I can actually see, like, for each of these different folders, what part am I on, or like I can see the status, and you can include other things there too, like word count or target. So let's see. Hopefully that helps you out. There are more advanced things you can do with the outliner, but I'm going to leave it at that there for now. And then if you have questions, feel free to write them in the comments somewhere. I'll try to take a look and see what people are missing. And then maybe we'll do a second video outlining number 2. And yeah, unfortunately, Scrivener is not supported by Chromebook. Which is terrible. Nor is it available on Android, which just drives me insane. I am also using the Windows version. So this is, I think, Scrivener 1 point something. It's not the Mac version. So no, you don't need the Mac version to find the outliner view, but probably the Mac version has something prettier than this. All right, so let's take this back so that you can see me. So that's Scrivener's outliner function. Hopefully you find that handy during Nano. If it doesn't work for you, then don't use it, right? Like you don't have to do that. But hopefully this was helpful. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for being here, Right with Melanie. I'm actually going to sign off. This is just a little quick Scrivener tip. So I love Scrivener too, and I'll be back with other little tips. Also, WordStitch is doing its next live write-in Monday, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. So we talk about Scrivener a lot there, and more sort of like live. So you're welcome to ask us questions right then and there. All right. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.